The first thing I did after reincarnating as the Snow Wolf King was run around collecting baby formula and diapers. All because I adopted 2 human baby girls. But what I didn't expect was, these 2 babies are actually the reincarnated empresses. In their past lives, they fought for 3 days and nights. Both ended up dying together. Who would have thought they'd be reborn as twin sisters? And abandoned in the forest. Just when they thought they'd be eaten by wild beasts, a Snow Wolf King appeared before them. 3 months ago, I transmigrated to this world of awakened spirits. I turned into a snow wolf. And I awakened the magnet strip loot system. By constantly hunting, I became the one and only Wolf King in this forest. And today, while I was out hunting, 2 babies crying caught my attention. I followed the sound, and found 2 human baby girls. The baby with red hair on the left is Ji Ying. Right now, her hands are on her hips, with her lips all puffed up, staring at Gu Qinghan with light golden hair on the right. Gu Qinghan glared right back, not backing down, making little baby noises. Me, a powerful demon lord. And I'm being bullied by you today. At that moment, both girls caught sight of a pair of icy blue beast eyes. Forgetting any grudges, they instantly hugged each other tight. They both started bawling. The mighty empresses were totally freaked out. Is this really how our new lives end, right after being reborn? But a moment later, the Wolf King didn't attack them. So the 2 opened their eyes, looking confused. Watching the crying babies, I frowned. Even though I'm a wolf now, my soul is still human. After thinking a bit, I sighed. Poor little ones. From now on, you'll stay with me. So I bared my fangs, and picked up their swaddles in my mouth. The 2 little ones, seeing my sharp fangs so close, Ji Ying's heart was pounding like crazy. In her heart, she screamed nonstop. I'm really about to die. Even Demon Lord Gu Qinghan swallowed nervously. As my saliva dropped onto the swaddle, Gu Qinghan went completely pale. I just got reborn. Am I really gonna be wolf food? But the swaddle suddenly stopped moving. The 2 babies looked up at the same time. They didn't think much at first, but when they looked up, they met my deep ice blue eyes. Ji Ying held her breath, terrified. Gu Qinghan was even shaking a bit. I froze in place. Suddenly, I started to panic a little. If these little ones freeze, it'd be my fault. So I let out a long howl. After hearing my call, 5 or 6 snow wolves came to me. They surrounded me, and we moved forward slowly. With them blocking the cold wind, the swaddle became much warmer. But Ji Ying and Gu Qinghan were still shocked. Soon, the 2 started chatting in English. Think of something quick. I don't want to die in a wolf den. Stop it. What if the wolf goes wild? We'd really be done for. So just like that, I carried the little ones across half the forest. Finally, we got back to the snow wolves' territory. When the king's presence spread over the pack, dozens of snow wolves all looked over. Long howls echoed through the heart of the forest. The pack greeted me with wolf clan rituals, welcoming their king's return. Woken by the howling, the 2 babies opened their sleepy eyes together. Their eyes were hazy with sleep. Maybe it was just the right temperature in the swaddle. So when Ji Ying woke up, she just had to stretch. But when she opened her eyes, she was stunned. She was staring right at my huge, scary wolf face. Gu Qinghan also saw all the snow wolves bowing to me. Royal beast class monsters, she was shocked too. Are you kidding me? Spiritual energy isn't even fully awakened yet. And there's already elite monster royalty around? Ji Ying suddenly understood. We're doomed. We're totally prey. Gu Qinghan's face went pale. Help. I don't want to get eaten. A few minutes later, I brought Ji Ying and the other inside my cave home. A mix of pine and animal skin smell hit them right away. Ji Ying and Gu Qinghan were both stunned by what they saw. Wooden fences, animal skins covering the floor. How is this rough living? No way. This place is way too nice. All those beast pelts on the ground were clearly my handiwork. My strength was beyond what they expected. But this doesn't look like a place to hold prey. It feels more like the Wolf King's lair. What's going on? Ji Ying glanced sideways, lost in thought. Remembering a bunch of details, Ji Ying realized something was off. This Snow Wolf King didn't seem hostile. Before she could say anything, Gu Qinghan noticed too. Do you think it could be possible? This Wolf King isn't planning to eat us? Hearing that, Ji Ying just nodded silently. Honestly, they're not even a snack for this Wolf King. If the wolf really wanted to eat them, they'd be gone in one bite. But even someone as worldly as Ji Ying never thought, I might just want to raise them. Right then, I let out a howl outside the cave. Pretty soon, 2 snow wolf moms came over, both still smelling like milk. They walked into the den. Compared to the males, the female's fur was much fluffier, so they looked less threatening. At that moment, Gu Qinghan was stunned. Are they feeding us? Ji Yingying was shocked too. The Snow Wolf King right here. Went through so much just to bring them back. And actually wants to adopt them. Shocked as she was, Ji Yingying's face couldn't help but show something strange. You want me to drink wolf milk? Ji Ying stubbornly turned away, thinking she'd rather die than give in. But in my eyes, they just looked spaced out. So cute. But why won't these little ones drink any milk? As I thought about it, I suddenly got it. I guess I've been the Wolf King too long. Human babies aren't like wolf pups. If I don't feed them, how would they eat? With a command, the two she-wolves came over, lying down beside Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan. Ji Yingying suddenly felt very weird. This really is happening. No doubt about it. A Wolf King really wants to raise her. Me, Ji Yingying, human empress. Adopted by a Wolf King today, wow. I'm Ji Yingying, reincarnated empress. I'd rather die than drink wolf milk. And it's not just her. Gu Qinghan beside her is just as stunned. Compared to Ji Yingying, he's the notorious rebellious demon lord of the humans. In our past life, elite wolf kings like this. He could wipe out tens of thousands with a single breath. Make him call a wolf dad? No way. Not a chance. And those two little ones, with their defiant faces? Of course, I just see it as them being stubborn. I'm not in a hurry. Instead, I put my claws away. Just used my wolf paw. And gently pushed the two little ones towards the female wolf. Ji Yingying watching this scene. Both of them feel almost humiliated. But with my scary wolf paw watching them, that's a straight up threat. Like, if they don't drink soon, they'll get eaten the next second. Finally, Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan give in. Especially when that sweet, tangy smell hits them. Drinking milk isn't that embarrassing, right? Ji Yingying tries to comfort herself. Gu Qinghan just closes his eyes. Surrender on the outside. But not happy about it at all inside. 30 years west of the river. 30 years east of the river. Don't bully the weak. They harden their hearts. And lean onto two mother wolves. The moment the wolf milk hits their throats, the two kids who've been hungry look up. Eyes lighting up. So good. Watching these two obedient kids drink wolf milk. I finally let out a big breath. Human babies this age are usually weaned. But I can't exactly find formula around here. These two can't eat meat yet. So raising them means depending on the milk of the mother wolves. Luckily, they seem to really like it. At the same time, the two empresses munching away are wide-eyed. Can you feel it? Ji Yingying speaks first. Gu Qinghan meets her gaze. There seems to be a hint of spirit energy in the milk. From their memories, the true revival of spiritual energy is still a month away. But these female snow wolves already have spiritual energy in their milk. It's not much, but as two region-level powerhouses among humans, Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan both realize this means these snow wolves got a head start before the energy surge even began. Already ahead of the game. Ji Yingying can't help but mumble. No wonder that Snow Wolf King is now an elite beast. Who knows what luck it found. Now both women get it. This snow wolf pack is special. As I look at the now full and satisfied little ones, then at the two overly exhausted mother wolves, I can't help but find the whole thing funny. How long has it been since these kids drank milk? They actually drained two snow wolves dry. Good thing the pack, though not big, still has 9 female wolves. Even though the kids have big appetites, we can just barely provide enough. Xion's eyes flash with something too. Even if humans and monsters walk different paths, this Wolf King is actually our age. Gu Qinghan speaks up, super satisfied. Once I regain my powers. Mid-sentence, Gu Qinghan suddenly burps from the milk. His face quickly goes bright red. For the sake of this wolf milk, when I'm back to full power, I might just accept him as my ride. As your ride, really? Ji Yingying gives Gu Qinghan a look. Deep down, he's starting to accept me as his wolf daddy. Of course, Ji Yingying notices Gu Qinghan's look. When have I ever been this humiliated? No sooner does he finish, Gu Qinghan can't stop another milk burp. He can't even keep a straight face now. His cheeks turn bright red. Gu Qinghan avoids Ji Yingying's mocking look and teasing gaze. He can't help but mutter to himself. Fine, I'll admit he's my wolf daddy, okay? The two of them switch to their secret English codes, which to me just sounds like gibberish. I have no clue what they're saying, but seeing Gu Qinghan's red face, is he choking or something? Thinking of this, I actually panic a little. I spring into action, first putting away all my claws, then scooping him up with one wolf paw, while my other paw gently pats Gu Qinghan's back, trying to help him feel better. At that moment, Gu Qinghan accidentally makes eye contact with me. His eyes instantly go wide. What kind of eyes are those? Deep as the stars. Blue like gems. They're clearly beast eyes. But Gu Qinghan feels genuine care from them. Is the Wolf King patting my back right now? Is he actually worried about me? Gu Qinghan's heart skips a beat. As a peak lord in his past life, he's never felt this kind of care. He's faced with a snow wolf beast known for being cunning and fierce. But from him, he feels warmth he's never had before. Ji Yingying is just as shocked. She actually sees worry. And both anxiety and relief. In the beast's eyes at the same time. This whole kind of care is a really new experience for them. Gu Qinghan stares dazed at my ice blue eyes, relaxes completely, and falls right asleep. He even mumbles in his dream. That's it, I've decided. From now on, you're my wolf daddy. Inside the Wolf King's den, I see the two little ones finally asleep. And I let out another big sigh. Finally solved their food problem. But other challenges are right behind. I frown, already worried about where my girls will sleep. The weather's getting colder now. And if I do nothing, they might not survive one night. But out here in the wild, besides trees, there's really nothing else. Suddenly, an idea pops into my head. Got it. So I quietly step out of the cave and show up before all the snow wolves. With a soft howl, I make it clear I'm not to be defied. From now on, all beasts in the wolf pack must treat those two human babies as our own. Then I call over a dozen snow wolves in the pack and have them all gather around me. My target is the giant tree in the middle of the basin. That tree has already stood here for hundreds of years. And now with the spirit energy rising again. Now the diameter is over 10 meters. What I need to do is carve out a hole in the trunk. I'll use the thick tree to keep out the cold. I'm making a warm home for the two little ones. With one command, a few wolves stepped out of the pack. They started wildly scratching at the trunk. In no time, a hole was made. But that was nowhere near enough. So I had a new group of wolves switch in for the next round. Howls echoed through the pack. Inside the Wolf King's den, Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan opened their eyes at the same time. Now they've been adopted by the Snow Wolf King. But where did Wolf Dad go? Just then, Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan heard something outside. They quickly lay down on their swaddles and looked toward the cave entrance. What's going on? Empress Ji Yingying was stunned. She really couldn't figure out why those snow wolves were freaking out at a tree. It didn't really look crazy. It looked like an attack. Gu Qinghan narrowed her eyes, too. Something's really off. Way more than just off, actually. What is Wolf Dad trying to do? Suddenly, a guess flashed through Gu Qinghan's eyes. Is Wolf Dad trying to get the pack to knock down that tree? Ji Yingying shook her head. The two little ones stared at each other, totally confused. Gu Qinghan finally figured it out. Wolf Dad is hollowing out the trunk. But I've never heard of snow wolves doing this. Ji Yingying was also totally floored. While the two stared in shock, I told the rest of the wolves to stop and dove straight into the tree hole. Compared to a normal snow wolf, I'm way stronger. And with my claws that cut like knives, Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan's jaws just dropped. Wolf Dad is hollowing out the tree. They blurted it out together. Strange things happen every year. But this year is something else. The Snow Wolf King adopting them was one thing. But now he's actually building stuff by hand. A weird sense of absurdity just filled Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan's hearts. What do you think? Gu Qinghan only had one thought left in her mind. The Snow Wolf King must be a spirit now. Not the kind of monster you get after spiritual energy revives, but the kind you hear about in old legends. He gained human wisdom. Ji Yingying couldn't even imagine, after spiritual energy revives, how strong the Snow Wolf King will be. But fortunately, in their memories from past lives, they had no recollection of the Snow Wolf King at all. Ji Yingying was stunned. Did something unexpected happen to Wolf Dad later? For some reason, Ji Yingying felt a sudden pain in her heart. I've made up my mind. Don't worry, Wolf Dad. When spiritual energy returns, I swear I'll keep you safe forever. Ji Yingying had just made her big promise. When her stomach growled at the worst possible moment, Ji Yingying would never admit she's hungry. I swung my wolf claw down, flattened part of the wall, and finally stopped. Then the rest of the snow wolves rushed into the treehouse and quickly cleaned up the mess on the floor. I bared my fangs again and gently carried the two baby girls into the treehouse. Looking at the handmade steps and the sleek tree trunk inside the house, Ji Yingying's eyes went wide. I get it now. Wolf Dad built this place for us. Ji Yingying couldn't put her shock into words. She wasn't stunned by the treehouse itself, but by the Snow Wolf King's amazing intelligence. Gu Qinghan, on the other hand, was amazed by the craftsmanship. Making a tree hole isn't strange. But Wolf Dad made it so well. He even crafted a high platform for sleeping, and carved out steps for walking. This isn't just intelligence. It's real craftsmanship. Turns out Wolf Dad can even do carpentry. Am I seeing things? And that's not all. While Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan watched in shock, the other wolves in the pack all swarmed into the Wolf King's den. They took off the furs from the beast carcasses on the ground and laid them inside the new treehouse. That's not all. Even the old wooden fences from the lair were taken apart and placed around the big tree, making it look just like a yard. That's the boundary I set for the other wolves. Even though I control the pack completely, I couldn't risk the safety of the two little ones. I made sure every safety measure was in place. And finally, the most important step. I picked up the two little ones and placed them on a bed I had made just for them. Then I grabbed a red fox pelt and left the house. I nailed that fox skin right to the door. And the old-fashioned fur door was done. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan both twitched their mouths. If they had any doubts or suspicions before, they were all gone now. This treehouse really was Wolf Dad's work. Wolf Dad is pretty impressive. Gu Qinghan whispered in awe, her eyes deep with thought. Ji Yingying kept nodding from the side. As an empress, Ji Yingying had seen countless powerful monster clans, but never a beast like Wolf Dad. She had never even heard of one. Why is that? Ji Yingying started thinking about it. But Gu Qinghan didn't bother with that. All he cared about, as a martial arts fanatic, was this: Wolf Dad's precise control of his strength. It's hard to imagine. Wolf Dad is supposed to be just an elite-level beast. What kind of monster are you, Wolf Dad? The two looked at each other in silence. I walked back in from outside the treehouse. To keep the place warm, I didn't make any windows. But because of that, the treehouse was too dark. So I rolled up the fox skin and let the sunlight pour in. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan didn't understand why, but they started to enjoy that rare sunlight. After about 10 minutes, sounds of noise came from outside. Ji Yingying peeked out from her swaddle. And right then, Ji Yingying's jaw almost hit the floor. She saw Wolf Dad swing his sharp claws, hitting a piece of black stone. Sparks flew everywhere in an instant, and instantly set the fur he had prepared on fire. Then the other wolves rushed up. Twigs caught fire in a flash, the flames roaring. But that's not all. The thing that really shocked Ji Yingying was that Wolf Dad put a flat stone right on top of the fire. Then the wolves brought pine resin and monster meat. Under the heat, the resin and oil started mixing. It flowed down the grooves in the stone, falling right into the bamboo tubes I had set up. What's he gonna do next? Gu Qinghan was woken by the aroma of meat. She stared blankly at the scene before her, lost in confusion. Ji Yingying just kept shaking her head. This bizarre sight before their eyes completely defied common sense. Wolf Dad has already learned to use fire? You've got to be kidding me. It took humans back in ancient times, over 100,000 years, to learn how to use fire. Now, right before their eyes, a snow wolf started a fire with flint, and then started cooking. Wait, it doesn't look like cooking. Ji Yingying's head was buzzing. Just at that moment, she noticed Wolf Dad turn into the treehouse, carrying a piece of bamboo in his mouth. Under the shocked gaze of the two little ones, I went to the wall of the room, dug a deep hole with my claws, and buried the bamboo tube at an angle. The next second, I rubbed the sharp flint pieces together, igniting the mixed oil inside the bamboo. It's an oil lamp. The Empress and the Demon Lord were both stunned. Ji Yingying's pupils dilated in shock. I've dominated for 100 years, but I've never seen anything so bizarre. Wolf Dad, have you become a spirit? What Gu Qinghan cared about was the aura surrounding the bamboo tube, a spiritual treasure. Wolf Dad, you're way too extravagant. Using a spiritual treasure as an oil lamp. The spiritual energy hasn't even begun to recover yet. The value of these treasures is hard to estimate, even for a powerful lord from a past life. Wolf Dad treats them incredibly well. Maybe this isn't so bad, Gu Qinghan thought to herself. All along, her world was only about fighting and killing. Survival of the fittest was her life creed. But now, that creed seemed meaningless. The care from the Snow Wolf King gave her a sense of peace she'd never felt before. I gave a soft howl, as if to comfort the two little ones. The gentle howl was full of peace and quiet. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan knew that Wolf Dad's care for them was real. Soon, the two little ones fell fast asleep. I also stayed nearby and slept soundly. Until evening came. The two hungry little ones woke me from my slumber. For some reason, when I looked into their eyes, I sensed that inside their eyes, there was a hint of shyness. I sniffed the air, and suddenly understood what happened. Man, these two wet the bed. Luckily, I had foresight. I couldn't make high-tech diapers. But while refining the lamp oil, I dried plenty of beast furs by the fire. Under their shy and shocked gazes, I lifted them up with my paws, called over 2 female wolves, and replaced their wet furs, discarding their old diapers. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan were shy at first, but since Wolf Dad is just a wolf, there wasn't much to be embarrassed about. They soon convinced themselves it was fine. After lining their blankets with fur, I added a layer of hunted snow sheep wool, and topped it with more fur. Just like that, the baby's bed was instantly turned into a luxury crib. The 2 girls watched Wolf Dad's work, both completely amazed. It seems this Wolf Dad is very responsible. Not just responsible, but professional. While the little ones were overthinking, I didn't forget the main task. Soon, 2 female wolves lay down on either side of the babies to act as wet nurses. I turned my gaze outside the treehouse. These 2 have a huge appetite. I have to find a way to get more meat. A sleepless night passed. The next day, I woke up fully. It's time to hunt. I gently pulled the furs to cover the 2 little ones. Then I walked out of the treehouse. This time, I kept my howl very low, not wanting to wake the sleeping babies. Little did I know, Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan had already woken up. Wolf Dad is going hunting, Ji Yingying muttered softly, then fell back into a deep sleep. Gu Qinghan couldn't help but think more. Once upon a time, even as a titled demon lord, she had never enjoyed such peace. With a sweet smile on her face, she went back to sleep. Tianshan Forest. I coldly scanned the hunting grounds. My front paws dug deep into the snow. The pack formed a fan-shaped encirclement. On the surface, the wolves were on their own. But as soon as prey was spotted, the pack would swarm from all directions. This tactic never fails. The wind carried the scent of a snow fox. My pupils narrowed into slits. The prey has appeared. My hind legs exploded with immense power. Boosted by my speed enhancement trait, I turned into a bolt of silver lightning. Finally, I saw the prey. A massive mutant snow fox beast. Surprise was followed by delight. Hunting that mutant beast yesterday gave me a green trait. Will this mutant fox beast bring another surprise? I let out a low howl. The next second, the wolves swarmed in like a tide. The mutant snow fox was strong, but my pack had followed me through countless battles. In an instant, they surrounded the fox. Amidst the clashing of claws and fangs, the mutant snow fox suddenly stood up, sweeping its powerful front limbs. I don't know what those claws were made of, but thick large trees snapped instantly. Seeing this, my eyes lit up. I kicked off the ground, leaping into the air. My sharp fangs pierced the fox's femoral artery perfectly. With the crack of a broken spine, the snow fox fell dead. You have killed a quasi-elite beast. The blade snow fox is now level 12. Dropped white trait, blade claws. Absorb blade claws? Refine and strengthen claws with spirit energy. Greatly increases attack and armor pen. I didn't hesitate. I chose yes immediately. Before long, I was delighted. I swung my new blade claws, and a nearby tree was sliced right in half. Jackpot. Feeling the power of the blade claws, I didn't get carried away. I just led the pack to keep hunting. Inside the snow wolf territory, Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan woke up again. They leaned against the edge of the crib, watching the world outside. They no longer feared for their safety. Instead, they felt a bit of boredom. To put it simply, they had too much free time. Gu Qinghan was currently counting hairs on a fur pelt. Just then, a group of wolf pups appeared outside, adding some color to their dull day. Ji Yingying suddenly noticed something. Don't you think? This wolf pack seems very intelligent? Gu Qinghan looked over. Their eyes were all pure ice blue. But besides wildness, they also showed a hint of curiosity. One pup tried to approach the treehouse, but was stopped by a female wolf. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan realized something. The wisdom of these wolves far exceeded that of ordinary beasts. Just then, a sudden change occurred. A guard wolf remaining with the pack gave a sharp, low growl. The girls didn't speak wolf, but they heard the threat and tension. What's going on? The eyes of both girls widened. Right then, Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan saw a massive pack of gray-black wolves. They couldn't count on a king among those gray wolves wanting to adopt them. The next second, a murderous howl rang out. A dozen strong black wolves walked out from the woods. But now, in the snow wolf pack, there are only 2 adult males and 9 females left. How could they resist a black wolf pack that outnumbers them by so much? Is my rebirth really halfway through and already doomed to fail? Gu Qinghan was stunned. Hearing that, Ji Yingying couldn't help but twitch her lips. Couldn't you say something better? Did you really have to say such unlucky things? But he had to admit. The wolves left in the snow wolf pack really aren't a match for the black wolves. Just as things were about to get critical, a loud wolf howl echoed from outside the forest. It traveled all the way from afar. It was Wolf King. Ji Yingying was slightly surprised. Gu Qinghan next to her hurriedly patted his imaginary chest. But Ji Yingying thought of something else. She frowned gently. Even with Wolf King, the total fighting power of the snow wolf pack was barely just over 20 wolves. But across from them, the black wolf pack had at least 50. Sure, Wolf King is an elite beast. But those black wolves are all aura-level monsters too. Things are bad now. In the forest, after receiving the warning from the female wolves, I pushed my speed to the limit. I quickly arrived at the wolves' base. What I saw in front of me instantly awakened my beastly instincts. My icy blue wolf eyes were full of rage. These black wolves dare trespass on my hunting grounds, even attacking the snow wolves' home. If I hadn't acted on a whim today, and finished hunting early, just thinking of what might have happened to the snow wolves made anger blaze in my eyes. You all deserve to die. Especially now. I've already started treating those two human kids like family. With my furious roar, the black wolves noticed me. Wolf howls rose everywhere. A tall black wolf king stepped out from the pack. Staring at the black wolf king, Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan were both in shock. An elite beast. Guess the rumors are true. It started evolving even before Aura returned. Back when Aura hadn't revived, Ji Yingying wasn't excited about figuring it out. Instead, her face just looked tense. Both are elite beasts. But the black wolf pack has way more wolves than the snow wolf pack. No matter how you fight, it seems this battle's outcome is already decided. Just as the two kids panicked, I launched the attack first. With my command, the snow wolves all took battle positions. And I led the charge, rushing into the black wolf pack. Gu Qinghan couldn't watch anymore. Right then, sharp claws sliced through the air. My wolf claws swung, turning into dangerous tools of destruction. Each swipe splattered blood everywhere. The black wolf king was just about to battle me, king to king. I instantly crouched, muscles tensed. My razor claws flashed by. I became a blur of silver. And in one swipe, I took out several black wolves, including the black wolf king. The fight reached its peak. Inside the treehouse, Gu Qinghan's eyes widened. He murmured, unable to help himself. He took it down. That's the black wolf king. One swipe killed it instantly. The battle still raged on. But facing the fearless wolf beasts, even sharp claws can be blocked by bones. And my speed would slow down with all the blood. After the wolf king died, the crazed black wolves surged at me like a tide. A splash of blood shot up. Now I was the one injured. Finally, my silver fur stained with my own blood. Ji Yingying was instantly stunned. Her heart was moved. Wolf Dad got hurt. She was just a baby. But her empress soul was furious. Gu Qinghan right beside her was stunned, fists clenched tight. Damn black wolves. Gu Qinghan's eyes burned with kill intent. He could feel Wolf Dad's caring. He truly could sense it. But right now he was powerless. Gu Qinghan was about to explode with rage. Luckily, even though the black wolves attacked fiercely, I'm not so easy to defeat. My claws swung again. Cold light flashed. As a human soul, I just wanted to stay unharmed. But since I was hurt, I went all out. A wolf howl released pure killing intent. Howl Moon skill activated. This is a skill only royal beasts can use. When snow wolf beasts heard my howl, they were filled with courage. Their battle power soared. Victory started to shift towards the snow wolf pack. The outcome was clear. Only then did Gu Qinghan let out a big sigh. Wolf King really is amazing. He won with sharp eyes and powerful moves. Like a textbook example. Even wounded, he didn't fall behind against so many wolves. Didn't lose one bit. That fighting power is just insane. Compared to Gu Qinghan, Ji Yingying was shocked by Wolf King's strength. But what mattered more to her was Wolf King occasionally gazing at the treehouse. Ji Yingying was certain she could feel the anger in Wolf King's eyes. Not just because his authority was challenged, or his territory invaded, but more so for her and Gu Qinghan's safety. In other words, Wolf Dad truly sees them as family. Thinking of this, Ji Yingying's eyes filled with a shock she'd never felt before. So this is what it feels like to be cared for. Ji Yingying suddenly smiled. Just a baby. But her smile was so deep and heavy. On the battlefield, covered head to toe in blood, I sank my mind into my mental sea. You've killed an aura-level beast, Blackback Wolf, which dropped a green magnet strip. Absorb Black Wolf Claw or not? You've killed an elite beast, Black Wolf King. Which dropped a white magnet strip. Absorb Black Wolf pressure white silver talent magnet strip or not. This raises your control over the Black Wolves. I hesitated a bit. But I already had a plan. Those green strips aren't really good stuff. Plus, they clash with my Snow Wolf bloodline. So I used them all as food to strengthen my other traits. As for Black Wolf pressure, after absorbing, it changed to Snow Wolf pressure. Just as I expected. After all, Black Wolves and Snow Wolves are both wolf beasts. At that moment, I glanced at my attribute panel. After absorbing all those strips, I now had 4 white strips. Level only went up to 14, but my power was way beyond normal elite beasts. Without even realizing it, the battle quietly ended. The Black Wolves that tried to stir up trouble were almost completely wiped out by the Snow Wolves. The Snow Wolves had casualties too. 2 Snow Wolves died in battle. 3 Snow Wolves got injured. 1 Snow Wolf is barely alive. They won the fight. But the mood at the Snow Wolf camp feels heavy. After witnessing the wolf tribe's bloody fight, Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan's eyes both showed a strange emotion. These Snow Wolves died fighting for me. Even with the soul of an empress, Ji Yingying still felt she couldn't handle it. The weight of losing 2 Snow Wolves was too much. Gu Qinghan also stayed silent. But he's always been combative. After being quiet for a long while, he finally spoke. I'll never forget this moment. But right now, a more urgent problem is here. That dying Snow Wolf won't last much longer. And that's not all. The other lightly wounded wolves, if they get infected, they won't live long either. What Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan worry most about is Wolf King seems injured too. Thinking of this, Ji Yingying and Fei got nervous. Looks like Wolf King is seriously hurt. Damn. If only we had awakened our spiritual powers. Maybe we could help somehow. Now, both Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan suddenly felt gloomy. Right at this moment, Wolf King's long howl echoed again. It got noisy outside the hut. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan glanced outside together. What's Wolf King doing? But what happened next completely shattered Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan's worldview. In their shocked gazes, the wolves carried a half-circle stone bowl from afar, then placed it over the fire. It looked like a stone pot, and the black smoke stains on its side show this wasn't the first time Wolf King started a fire. Set up the pot. Is he starting a feast? Gu Qinghan raised his voice in surprise. But it couldn't show his real shock. Everything Wolf King did felt strange. And showed a kind of beastly wisdom. Did we misunderstand Wolf King? He's not trying to take us in. He wants to cook and eat us. Ji Yingying was speechless at her own thoughts. But it really seemed to be heading that way. The female wolves used spirit beads as containers. Quickly fetched creek water. Then poured it inside the stone pot. A few female wolves also went to my old cave. And brought dry branches and grass. They looked ordinary. But the air felt weirdly tense. Next moment, I tossed branches and grass in the pot. Started boiling them. The bitter smell rose up from the pot. Gu Qinghan's eyes widened. Like waking up from a dream. He was as shocked as ever. He would have preferred to believe Wolf King was cooking him than believe what he saw. Demon Lord was completely stunned. This makes no sense. Ji Yingying almost turned to stone right there. Wolf King knows way too much. I scooped out the boiled medicine. Let it cool, then fed it to the wounded wolves. The Snow Wolves that took the herbal medicine. Their breathing improved a little. Especially the critically injured one. Its faded eyes began to regain focus. Rapid breathing calmed down. Ji Yingying was stunned. Totally speechless. Something's off. That medicine isn't just herbs. Silver bone flower, white mustard bamboo, fei shui grass. Oh my god. What's boiling isn't just herbal medicine. It even had spiritual ingredients. Ji Yingying finally got it. Why the medicine worked so well. Wolf King evolved into an elite beast. Even before the spiritual energy revived. Wolf King must have eaten spiritual plants. It's a bit wasteful. But it lets Wolf King awaken early. And become intelligent. Thinking about this, she was shocked. If Wolf King is already smart, he should know how important spiritual plants really are. How could he waste them like that? That kind of generosity shouldn't exist in beasts. Especially in a Snow Wolf King. But that's the reality. Gu Qinghan couldn't figure it out. Ji Yingying showed surprise and hope in her eyes. Maybe that's why Wolf King adopted them. Because Wolf King is different from other beasts. The fire burned brighter. The medicine started working. Soon, the wounded wolves got lively again. Ji Yingying looked at me. More and more curious. And more shocked. Ji Yingying stayed reserved. But Gu Qinghan couldn't hide his shock. Wolf King is just amazing. Not only fought alone, but after the battle, used herbal remedies to heal the snow wolves. Inside the snow wolf territory. After all the wounded got treated, the mood didn't return to normal. It got more solemn instead. Ji Yingying was surprised to find Wolf King was gone. Several hundred meters away from the snow wolf camp. In a sparkling stream. I jumped in with my bloodied wolf body. If the wolf blood isn't cleaned up, the wounds might get infected. Even though I'm confident in my body, I wouldn't risk my life anyway. The icy water quickly washed off the blood. Back at the snow wolf camp, my silver gray fur was back to its regal look. The strange tension among the snow wolves left Ji Yingying confused. I went into the treehouse. First checked if the two little ones wet the bed. Then gently carried them in their blankets. Through my cold, two-tone eyes, they both felt Wolf King's sadness. This kind of emotion should only be human. But it showed up in Wolf King. Ji Yingying's head felt like it exploded. Gu Qinghan was way more sentimental. Feeling Wolf King's sadness. He couldn't help feeling low too. Soon, both Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan were carried out to the clearing in the woods. Why did Wolf King bring them here? Gu Qinghan couldn't figure it out. But he sensed. This area had many small hills. And dry branches stuck in the dirt. Where is this place? Right then, all the snow wolves came over in order. 2 of them at the front carried dead wolves by the neck. Gu Qinghan was shocked. Was Wolf King going to eat the dead wolves? Cannibalism is normal for magical beasts. It seems pretty common. But Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan, if Wolf King really ate his own, it would mean one thing. No matter how different Wolf King is, he's still a wolf. The corpses of the 2 snow wolves were gently placed on the ground. I walked up to the hills and dug quickly with my claws. Soon, I made 2 small holes. With my icy blue eyes, I bared my fangs. Then gripped my kin by their bodies. But didn't use force. After that, I buried them with my claws. I brushed a small tree nearby with my paw. Snapped it into 2 logs. Pressed down gently with my front paw. Buried both logs in the earth. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan got it now. Wolf King actually held a funeral for the snow wolves. Yes, a real funeral. Ji Yingying's heart raced. If she hadn't seen it herself, no one would ever believe it. What's a magical beast really? Known for strong bodies but lacking intelligence. But with Wolf King here, Ji Yingying started doubting that rule. This deep and heavy emotion. Not even humans fully get it. But now, it's shown by the Snow Wolf King. Gu Qinghan's eyes suddenly lost focus. Gu Qinghan finally calmed down. He looked up and met Ji Yingying's gaze. They were silent, just staring. The scene before them was shocking. It made both the Empress and the Demon Lord quiet. The next second, I suddenly raised my head. Let out a deep, resonant howl across the palace grounds. The howl carried through the woods on the breeze. The solemn atmosphere slowly faded as the wind blew. This one-of-a-kind funeral came to an end. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan went from shocked and moved to finally lowering their heads, quietly mourning with the pack of snow wolves. Out of the corner of my eye, I watched the 2 little ones paying respects like royal heirs. I froze for a moment. These 2 little ones seemed pretty smart. With the funeral over, I gently picked up their cradle and walked toward the treehouse. But halfway there, I looked at a sunny clearing, thought about it, and decided to let the little ones soak up some sun. At the same time, with a low growl rolling in my throat, the snow wolves all moved together. They started to clean up the battlefield. Even though those black wolves are part of the wolf tribe, to the snow wolves, their bodies count as food too. The snow wolves hauled the black wolf corpses across the ground, then walked toward the side of the old Wolf King's cave. Ji Yingying's curiosity was sparked. What's going on here? Gu Qinghan finally saw clearly. Next to the Wolf King's cave was another hidden cave. Not only that, cold air wafted out from the entrance now and then. Gu Qinghan was stunned. Are they burying the black wolf bodies? It doesn't really look like it. Just as he was confused, Ji Yingying finally reacted. Her expression showed both curiosity and shock. I get it now. This is a snow wolf food storage cellar. Compared to the funeral, this cellar isn't special. But it still looked quite impressive. Those cold waves seemed to hold a faint spiritual energy. Gu Qinghan acted casual. He wasn't particularly stunned. With the movements of the snow wolf monsters, the battlefield, once covered in black wolf corpses, was now mostly cleared and sent to the cellar. Ji Yingying stared at the cave entrance for a long time. The lingering chill wouldn't fade. Ice crystals glinted at the cave entrance. Clearly, this was an ice house. Gu Qinghan's mind was a bit slow to catch up. Ice house or not, it's just a storage room. But then, Gu Qinghan froze too. The snow wolf's brain probably hasn't evolved enough to use an ice house for keeping food. Both empresses felt a lot deep inside, and their faces kept changing. But to my eyes, they were just two little ones, curious about something new. I looked at the two little ones, feeling protective. My resolve grew stronger, determined to keep them safe. After cleaning the battlefield, another group of snow wolves returned from the forest, bringing back their lost prey. There were snow fox bodies, elk meat, and chased in by a few wolves. A flock of snow sheep with long, fluffy coats showed up at the snow wolves' home. Ji Yingying froze on the spot. Gu Qinghan started to think deeply. Lang hadn't awakened officially yet, but as a titled demon lord, he was observant. He instantly saw these snow sheep were showing signs of mutation. Given time, they could awaken spiritual beast abilities, fully transform into monsters. Except, all these snow sheep were females. Before Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan could think more, the sheep smelled blood and got restless right away. The wolves around them seemed to be losing control. Are the sheep about to escape? Gu Qinghan's eyes went wide, with a hint of weirdness in them. The sheep smelled blood and got restless right away. The wolves around them seemed to be losing control. Are the sheep about to escape? Gu Qinghan's eyes went wide, with a hint of weirdness in them. The next second I stood up straight. A sudden wolf howl shattered the peace. It also completely subdued the agitated sheep. The sheep were instantly intimidated. I just tested the snow wolf pressure bar. It worked way better than I thought. The sheep started breathing much more quietly, like they'd surrendered. I walked forward a few steps, stood in front of the flock of sheep. My sharp claws cut across the ground, and instantly marked out a space. Then in a quick move, I chopped down over a dozen big trees. Is this drawing lines for a prison? Gu Qinghan seemed to think of something scary, and leaned back a bit. The next second I swung my claws. My sharp, deadly claws now became tools for carpentry. I swung them fast, turning lots of trunks into wooden stakes, then hammered them into the ground, building a fence in the shape of Huaxia's border. Langba is raising snow sheep now, Gu Qinghan mumbled, and exchanged a look with Ji Yingying. They both felt the shock in each other's eyes. This is some monster stuff. It's one thing for Langba to use an ice house, but now he's actually farming sheep? The spiritual energy hasn't even returned yet, but Ba's planning to lead the pack. Straight from hunting to raising snow sheep. That seems bizarre, no matter how you look at it. Ji Yingying started thinking. Is Lang Dad actually developing animal husbandry? If you saw it from a human perspective, it wouldn't seem like a big deal. But the key is, Lang Dad isn't human. Another long howl rang out. Snow wolf dominance flared up again. Two shaky female sheep stood up from the flock, came to the left and right of the two, and lay down nearby. At the same time, from the female sheep, there was a faint smell of milk in the air. And when the two little ones smelled it, they finally realized. So that's it. Turns out Lang Dad brought the sheep in, just to improve their meals. Ji Yingying's guess was confirmed. She could only mutter, so, Lang Dad isn't worried about food for the pack. He worries about us too. Gu Qinghan was stunned too. Then he suddenly turned around, looking at Lang Dad working hard on the sheep pen. It's for me? Gu Qinghan softly asked. Something emotional stirred in his chest. An indescribable feeling rushed up inside. Looks like I owe Lang Dad more and more. He was feeling moved, when his stomach started growling. The next second the two little ones stopped holding back, and dove right onto the female sheep. Soon, I finished building the sheep pen, locked up all the sheep, and carried the two little ones back to the treehouse. The night passed by in a flash. The next day, with the black wolves wiped out, I had a few snow wolves mark the black wolves' territory. Expanded my own territory. After that, I headed back to the treehouse, looking at the two little ones, both totally bare. It's not cold inside the treehouse, but winter's coming. I still need to get clothes for the two kids. After thinking for a bit, I had an idea. Quickly grabbed a few black wolf corpses from the ice cellar. Used wolf claws to easily skin them. Sharp claws turned into my sewing tools. Ji Yingying and Lu Anfei looked totally stunned. What's Wolf Dad doing? I used wolf claws to cut the pelts into strips, then sewed the softer snow fox fur together, turning them into two little fur skirts. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan were totally dumbfounded. Wolf Dad holding funerals, building ice cellars, making sheep pens. All can be explained by awakened intelligence. But what's Wolf Dad doing now? Did the Wolf King just become a tailor? Is this a dream? Ji Yingying was completely confused. Yeah, the skirt really is pretty ugly. But it was actually made by Wolf Dad. Gu Qinghan was totally speechless from shock. She just quietly put on the fox fur skirt. Say what you want. This snow fox fur is seriously warm. Ji Ying followed suit and put on a snow-white fox fur skirt. Looking at the two little ones in their new fur skirts, I couldn't help but smile. If you don't look closely, they really look like wolf pups. I genuinely laughed at the sight. After they changed into the fox fur skirts, I picked up Ji Ying and Gu Qinghan again and walked out of the treehouse. Letting the kids get some sunlight is always good. A few of the wolf cubs in the pack watched the two human girls and got curious too. To Ji Ying and Gu Qinghan's surprise, when the wolf cubs played near them, they actually hid their fangs and claws. These newborn snow wolf pups already had intelligence close to post-awakening spirit beasts. They're all monsters. Ji Ying couldn't help but sigh. But she had to admit, life like this isn't bad at all. Just like that, they settled happily among the snow wolves. In just 5 days, it was like they'd totally blended in with the pack. Suddenly, I sensed something was off. I looked up fast and realized at some point, a full moon had risen in the sky. The remnant sun dipped past the horizon. Right then, Gu Qinghan and Ji Ying seemed to sense something. Chi-Chi looked up, with the moon high and bright. The first spiritual energy tide since awakening is coming. My first job after becoming the Snow Wolf King was gathering formula and diapers everywhere, just because I adopted 2 human baby girls. But what I didn't expect was, these 2 baby girls were actually reincarnated empresses. At this moment, Gu Qinghan and Ji Ying sensed something again, and both looked up. Moon's shining bright. First spirit energy tide since awakening is about to hit. The 2 girls looked both hyped and excited. Even though they're babies now, can't start cultivating just yet, but both used to be real powerhouses. Once the spiritual tide arrives, all they need is a breathing technique, and they can start improving even as infants. The next second, the sky suddenly went dark. The whole forest fell strangely silent. My icy blue eyes narrowed sharply. For some reason, when I was breathing, I could faintly sense something new in the air. Looking out, I finally noticed above the moonlight a faint blue scent surging from the ground. Spiritual energy, I mused. Ji Ying and Gu Qinghan closed their eyes together. A faint spiritual rhythm was drawn to them both, making them look even more holy. But they weren't the only ones. Bathed in the moonlight, every snow wolf was transforming. Thanks to my hunting spirit-infused prey, the wolf pack had spiritual residue inside. Now they resonated with the energy tide. With me at the lead, countless snow wolf beasts joined in, and a long, deep howl rang out under the moon. Soon after, deep in the woods, thousands of beasts howled in turn. It was a monster chorus, like they were celebrating the awakening era. At that moment, Ji Ying and Lu Anfei snapped open their eyes. Ji Ying's innate breathing technique started running even in her infant body. It only revealed about 1% of its power, but it let Ji Ying step into the spiritual realm. Gu Qinghan did the same. From now on, they only needed time to return to the top. Meanwhile, I was the first to open my eyes outside the study. System prompt, worldwide spiritual awakening. Host current level unlocked. Now up to level 16, host receives spirit feedback. Awakened talent, soul resonance. 2 system prompts came one after another. A smile crept up on my lips. Surprises really do come out of nowhere. With the spirit awakening, my level jumped up by 2 straight away. As for the awakened pack resonance ability, only the Wolf King bloodline can unlock it. It creates bonds with fellow wolves, and gives the whole Snow Wolf pack a 15% stat boost. Once this skill activates, all the pack's wolves seemed to feel something, lifting their paws toward me, and howling together. 20 faint spirit auras erupted at Ji Ying and Gu Qinghan's sides. No way, are you kidding? The spirit awakening just started, and all the snow wolf beasts actually finished their first evolution. All stepped into the spirit beast level. Some even more so, reaching almost elite level. Just how insane is Wolf Dominator's tribe? He and Ji Ying both knew well. The most special wolf here is Wolf Dominator. Barring surprises, all these changes in the pack are probably tied to him. But still, how did their Wolf Dominator do it? Under the moonlight, the wolves first worshipped the moon, then all bowed in my direction. Every pair of icy blue beast eyes was filled with pure loyalty and passion. Ji Ying and Gu Qinghan both went quiet. After grabbing that surge of spiritual energy, the 2 girls had watched each other carefully, afraid the other would get a head start. Now it's fine. After seeing the Snow Wolves and Wolf Dominator's powers, they dropped those silly plans. Fact is, their bodies are still too weak. Gu Qinghan stated the truth. For now, they'll just use the spirit energy to nourish themselves, and after the energy fully returns, it won't take long before I can awaken my talents too. Once that happens, then we can compete. Ji Ying said nothing, just agreeing silently. Silence meant she agreed. Clearly she also knew. There's not much to do before awakening. Not many options. At that moment, I walked over to them slowly. Wolf Dominator seemed pretty spent. The elites noticed the change in him. That sign of weakness? They got what it meant right away. Looks like the elite stage is Wolf Dominator's current limit. Although this surge of spiritual energy really boosted Wolf King's level, his potential must have been drained a lot. Gu Qinghan immediately let out an "oh." Just as predicted by later theories. Elite is the peak before true spiritual awakening. Right at that moment, the woods erupted with beastly roars. Beasts were getting restless. Ji Ying and Gu Qinghan looked around. What they saw shocked them. Deep in the forest, hundreds of glowing eyes suddenly appeared. Some cold like ghost flames. Some blood red like fresh wounds. So many it made their skin crawl. Most of these beasts are just basic level. But the numbers are overwhelming. At least 300 to 500. Is tonight going to be another bloodbath? Ji Ying thought of a possibility. Wolf King is super strong. But surrounded by all these beasts, there's probably no way out this time. Gu Qinghan couldn't help but clench his fists. He desperately wanted to fight alongside Wolf King. But his baby body just dragged him down. I'm a bit worried about the two little ones. Right after the beasts roared, he looked more concerned. Seeing that made me feel worse. These clueless creatures. I looked at the two little ones gently. Let out a soft whimper. The next second, I suddenly braced my limbs against the ground. A wolf howl thundered through the forest. I'm a bit worried about the two little ones. Right after the beasts roared, he looked more concerned. Seeing that made me feel worse. Looked oh so gently at the two little ones. Let out a soft whimper. The next second, I suddenly braced my limbs against the ground. A wolf howl thundered through the forest. This wasn't a negotiation. It was a clear warning. With pack resonance activated, my howl carried the snow wolf's power and absorbed strength from the others nearby. One howl, and the world fell silent. All those sneaky beasts lurking around were scared stiff by my killing intent. Then I gently opened my jaws, carried the two little ones back to the study. The Demon King among the treasures. Gu Qinghan started doubting his own life. Wolf King's realm is just elite, true. But the howl just now felt almost extraordinary level. Maybe the opportunity Wolf King got from the surge was way beyond what I thought. Gu Qinghan muttered to himself. His mind was blank. Ji Ying stared at Wolf King in a daze. Her breathing unconsciously got heavier. Wolf King secretly leveled up again. After bringing the little ones back to the treehouse, I finally relaxed a bit. Tonight is anything but peaceful. But no matter what happens, I won't let the little ones get hurt. Outside the treehouse, all the snow wolves woke up. They instinctively guarded the area. Under the full moon, the snow wolf territory was peaceful. Sadly, tonight is destined to be sleepless. My howl scared off many weak beasts, but also attracted powerful elite ones. Right then, a fierce roar echoed, answering my long howl before. The beast's body hadn't shown itself yet, but Ji Ying and Gu Qinghan already sensed danger from that roar. Tiger's roar shakes the forest. That was a tiger beast's cry. Gu Qinghan's guess was spot on. Through the open treehouse door, they could just spot two distant glowing eyes, gleaming from far away, like a kilometer out. The next second, a shadow tore through the night, revealing its full form. It was a massive beast over 4 meters long. After seeing its size, Ji Ying and Gu Qinghan were stunned. There's a Siberian tiger in Tianshan forest? I figured the kids were just scared. Didn't think much of it. Turned and left the treehouse. Outside the treehouse, all the snow wolves gathered. They surrounded the treehouse with their bodies. And right across from them was that terrifying tiger beast. Siberian tiger, level 18. Elite grade beast. Born with wind tiger power and enhanced silver strength. Sharp blue claws. This beast is no joke. It's 2 levels above me. And its skills seem impressive. A spark of battle filled my eyes. But thinking of the kids in the treehouse, I forced myself to stay calm. Inside the treehouse, the Empress and the Demon King were panicking. No doubt, that's an elite tiger beast. Guess this is how I die, eaten by a tiger. Gu Qinghan blinked his big eyes. Even though Wolf King impressed them, they knew deep down. Tiger beasts and wolf beasts have an innate rift between them. Ji Ying totally lost her composure. Gu Qinghan just kept shaking his head. But those purple eyes went blank. Wolf King is Snow Wolf King. But there's no way he beats that tiger. Even the whole snow wolf pack together might not stand a chance. The next second, the tiger beast charged over. Then stopped right in front of the treehouse. And stared us down. But with me leading the wolves, nobody panicked. Both sides fell into a strange stalemate. The tiger couldn't hold back its murderous intent. Suddenly turned around. Went straight for the sheep herd. Started slaughtering. Within seconds, over a dozen snow sheep were all dead. Ji Yingying's gaze hardened. That tiger beast's combat power is no joke. She was instantly even more worried. The tiger's cruelty. I saw it clearly. Rage flared in my eyes. But keeping the kids safe matters most now. So I forced myself to hold back. That vicious tiger kept going. He stomped on the dead snow sheep, devouring the raw meat. Then suddenly swung his huge body. His glowing eyes locked onto me. That guy finally couldn't hold back. He charged straight at the snow wolf pack. Inside the treehouse, the young snow wolves were scared stiff by the tiger's presence, trembling all over. But just then, one pup managed to squash its fear and howled. Then the other pups joined in, howling together, almost as if answering the tiger's roar. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan were both stunned. Didn't expect these pups to show such crazy courage. At the same time, the battle was about to explode. With me guiding, the wolves attacked the tiger. The whole snow wolf pack charged at once. Both sides seemed evenly matched. Now, the tiger really meant business. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan tensed up. Judging by what the tiger just did, it's even more dangerous than they thought. Gu Qinghan couldn't help but feel hopeless. This is it. We're really gonna get eaten by the tiger today. Right at this moment, I moved, my muscles tensed up, turning into immense power. My front claws struck at lightning speed, swiping straight at the tiger's vulnerable side. Tore through the tiger's flesh in one hit. The northeast tiger was hurt. Let out an angry roar. Speed boost. Magnetic activation. My wolf pack moved like lightning, almost as if guided by fate. Dodged the shockwave of the tiger's roar. Then gave a deep, strong wolf howl. The difference is, this howl didn't carry any direct damage. But seeing the Wolf King's command, my snow wolves sprang into action. The northeast tiger hadn't recovered from the ambush. In the next second, it was surrounded by over a dozen snow wolves. Under my lead, the snow wolf pack became ruthless killing machines. Northeast tiger stood upright. A showdown was about to begin. But I was already on the move. For sharp claws. My wolf claws gleamed cold. Aimed right at the tiger's vital spot. While the northeast tiger was still stunned, my wolf claws pierced its heart. At the same time, I bared my fangs, locked onto the tiger's neck. Finished it in one blow. Ji Yingying's pupils widened. So many feelings. Only shock remained. Gu Qinghan felt that strike even more. She's the recognized Valkyrie of the human race. So she gets it better. The force of that strike. With the tiger's death, elite beasts lurking nearby scattered instantly. My actions stunned everyone. I slowly released my jaws. You've hunted a near-elite beast. Northeast tiger is now level 17. Dropped power boosting bar. At the same time, I clearly felt my body got stronger. After my howl, the rest of the snow wolves gathered around. Soon, the tiger's body was completely eaten. Evolution between beasts relies on devouring each other. The snow wolf pack's power means my own strength increases. The chaos in Tianshan forest settled down. I stayed in front of the treehouse. Quickly fell asleep. Inside the treehouse, Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan couldn't sleep. Wolf King's brains and power are unbelievable. But why is there no memory of him from the past life? What happened? Gu Qinghan sucked her fingertip. Her eyes filled with surprise. Maybe because I awakened at age 10 in my previous life. Wolf King didn't survive till the 10th year of Aura Revival. He was killed. Thinking about this, Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan's expressions changed. Since Wolf King adopted them in this life, they couldn't let anything happen to him. Right then, the two shared an unspoken understanding. When I awaken, Wolf King, I'll protect you. Next morning, I woke up. I glanced around the snow wolves. Now, there's something new I have to handle. There were elite beasts awakened last night. Surely not just the northeast tiger. The treehouse alone can't fully protect the kids. Time to build defenses. With a long howl, the whole snow wolf pack got moving. Under my orders, each wolf took on its job. Many big trees were chopped down, cut into logs soon after. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan woke up, watched the wolves chopping trees, saw everything clearly. What is Wolf King doing now? After aura cleansing, the two babies could crawl. Finally, from outside the treehouse, they saw Wolf King waving his claws. Gu Qinghan froze for a moment. Is Wolf Dad doing carpentry again? Isn't the treehouse fine? Ji Yingying was speechless. No matter what Wolf Dad wants to do, it's clearly something unusual. Lost in thought for just a moment. About 40 feet from the door, Wolf King already set several logs into the ground. Then a row of log posts lined up. Looked like a wooden wall. Their minds were blown. Wolf King can't be planning a wolf fortress, can he? Strange shock ran down their spines. Straight up to their heads. What's in Wolf Dad's mind? Just then, I seemed to hear their stomachs growling. Immediately ordered 2 female wolves into the treehouse to feed the 2 kids. I calculated the defense structure. Honestly, after the aura tide arrived, I only gained 2 levels. Actually, all my abilities got stronger. Wolf claws became sharper. Carpentry was way easier. Both kids watched as I turned into a snow wolf version of Lu Ban. Half a day later, around the snow wolf pack's home, built an 800-meter wooden wall. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan were totally shocked. From morning till now, just a few hours passed. Wolf Dad really built a snow wolf village. Gu Qinghan noticed. Saw a wooden ladder at the corner. Some wolves were climbing up the wall. Looked a bit funny honestly. Ji Yingying saw snow wolves patrolling the wall. Wolf Dad built not just the wall, but walkways up top too. More than just a fortress, way beyond. Clearly all for the 2 kids. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan felt deeply touched. Then they saw around the corner several snow wolves working, led by a near-elite wolf. Its sharp claws swung. Soon, it stripped a log. Then a few wolves teamed up, biting a vine and bark rope. Beside them, a tripod made of logs. At the top of the tripod, long vine rope, threaded through a super basic pulley. So, for snow wolves bit the vine, walked slowly. The sharpened log was hoisted up. Gu Qinghan couldn't hold back anymore. Pulled out an endless wall. He tried, but Wolf King was way too smart for a beast. Totally beyond beast-level intelligence. A log was nailed into the ground. Became part of the wall. Ji Yingying was puzzled. But gradually, she realized something. I get it now. Because of last night's aura tide. Wolf King was smart even before aura revival. After aura baptism, he evolved mainly in intelligence. Her words made Gu Qinghan think deeply. If that's the case, Wolf Dad is about to become the Archimedes of snow wolves. By evening, with all wolves and Wolf Dad working together, Snow Wolf Village was taking shape. Not just walls against beasts. Other snow wolves followed suit. Using hides, branches, leaves, built primitive rooms one by one. Outside the treehouse, both of them fell silent. Wolf Dad is defying nature. Both wondered. Since Wolf Dad's so smart, why was he unknown before? What really happened? With Wolf King's talent, he should have evolved to king level at least. Ji Yingying started to ponder. A few days later, the second aura tide arrived. Ji Yingying had just finished eating in the treehouse. Her eyes filled with expectation. In her last life, when aura first returned, she was a baby about this size too. But learned from all kinds of records. When the third aura tide comes, that's when the aura fully revives. Now, the second aura tide is here. Only a few days left till full revival. This time, he's bound to change history. While Ji Yingying was thinking, he seemed to recall something. Suddenly, I widened my eyes and looked at Gu Qinghan next to me. You actually awakened early. Inside the study, Gu Qinghan's baby body had a faint purple aura. Gu Qinghan opened his eyes with a sly look. Bet you didn't see that coming. These past few days, I've already perfected the purple jade breathing technique. So I can start cultivating even as a baby. It cost me a bit. But if you take the lead at the start, you stay ahead the whole way this life. I'm definitely going to crush you underfoot. Right then, he felt a flood of information pouring crazily into his mind. My talent has awakened. Over and over again. Gu Qinghan's eyes were full of excitement. He knew this feeling all too well. He immediately ignored Ji Yingying's gaze and focused his mind inward. Legendary talent, 16 tribulations. The familiar aura of time loss swirled around him. Gu Qinghan frowned slightly. Ji Yingying seemed to realize something too. Even though he awakened his talent early, what Gu Qinghan finally awakened was still that terrifying time-based power? First, his speed at absorbing aura, enhanced by the time talent, was triple that of all other awakened at this level. Plus, after the pomegranate cocoon was sealed, Gu Qinghan would gain total control over the battlefield. He could even freeze time in his surroundings and change the flow of time in certain areas. No exaggeration. This talent is just insanely powerful. Ji Yingying instantly felt a little defeated. But soon after, Gu Qinghan opened his eyes again, looking pretty upset. The aura of time around him suddenly disappeared. What's going on? Aura hasn't awakened yet. Turns out my 16 tribulations talent can't be used yet. Ji Yingying suddenly realized. Before the 16 tribulations, It was just like my Void Realm talent, both legendary. Except mine is a space talent. Legendary talents really are a good thing. But the key problem is, both Guqinghan and I are still babies. And Aura hasn't officially revived yet. Not to mention if our bodies can even handle these powers. There's just not enough aura for us to use our talents. Sure enough, after forcibly changing the purple jade breathing technique, Guqinghan, who awakened his talent early, soon suffered backlash. Just trying to use 16 tribulations once almost made his whole body collapse. Luckily, his past life experience kicked in. Guqinghan soon fell asleep, starting to recover his energy. Right now, Ji Yingying couldn't help but look outside the study. Before they knew it, he had spent nearly half a month with Wolf Ba. He already saw Wolf Ba as real family. Don't worry, Wolf Ba. Once my Void Realm talent awakens, I won't let you die this time. While he was lost in thought, suddenly, an aura wave came from outside the treehouse. It was the snow wolves. Ji Yingying suddenly thought of something. No way. That aura feels like elite tier beasts. A bit weaker than Wolf Ba. Could it be? While Ji Yingying was shocked, the howls of wolves came from outside the treehouse. Even the pups howled high and clear. The howls came closer and closer. Finally, 6 wolf pups appeared at the study door. All had completed their transformation. They're pre-elite beasts now. Ji Yingying couldn't help but mutter. What on earth happened? Guqinghan forced himself to wake up and saw 6 snow wolf beasts right away. Guqinghan was stunned. It's only been half a month. After 2 aura surges, these wolf cubs are already at pre-elite level? If I'm not mistaken, the last time the aura tide came, they were just at aura level. Could these 6 snow wolves also have different gifts? From Ji Yingying's calm look, he got the answer. Before, he was hyped about awakening his talent early. But seeing these 6 snow wolves with strange gifts, he suddenly had to face reality. He was a demon lord. Reborn, sure. With terrifying powers, no doubt. But up till now, the snow wolves he once looked down on are now a mountain he can't get past. Guqinghan let out a sigh. Right now, standing on the wall, my mood was as bright as the clear sky. I felt great. The snow wolf pack has all evolved together. The wolves' bonds got stronger. Current bond effect, snow wolves stats up 20%. All snow wolves are now pre-elite level. I don't know about the other beasts in this forest, but after the second aura tide, I can't say how much they've changed. But I know in my heart, my snow wolf pack might not be invincible here in the Tianshan forest, but they're definitely top tier. Plus, we've got these walls now. It's probably time to expand our territory. I looked at the snow wolf beasts. After a howl, I decided to have the elite snow wolf take my place and lead the pack to hunt. Just then, that snow wolf lowered its head very respectfully. Yes, my lord. I was pretty surprised in my mind. This snow wolf beast actually gained intelligence too. It still seems kind of dumb, but compared to the other wolves, this one is way smarter. My eyes swept over it, and I suddenly noticed, on its forehead, was a scar left by that black wolf beast before. The injury had healed, but a dark red scar remained. From now on, your name is Fangs. Led them out hunting. I spoke in a wolfy tone. The next second, Fangs crouched down fanatically. At your command, my king. Soon, Fangs took 3 adult snow wolves, plus 6 newly transformed pups, and left the snow wolf village. Ji Yingying and Guqinghan saw the scene, and instantly became curious. What's happening outside? And I haven't forgotten to bring the 2 little ones out of the treehouse. Time for some sun, as usual. With the improved purple jade breathing technique, Guqinghan's aura was hidden. I couldn't sense any real changes with the 2 kids. With 10 snow wolves out hunting, the rest had their auras tangled together, resonating with Wolf Ba, synchronizing together. Pack resonance. Back in Ji Yingying's era, this kind of gifted beast king was common, but this is only the second aura surge. Lucky that Wolf Ba's shocks are enough. Now this level of surprise is accepted. It almost feels like, as the snow wolf king, Wolf Ba should definitely have the pack resonance talent. Otherwise, it'd be weird. But what happened next made the 2 little ones open their eyes wide. At Wolf Dad's command, the snow wolves split into 2 teams again. One wolf got up onto the city wall, like it was patrolling, and another wolf went into the forest, probably to hunt. Splitting jobs isn't a big deal for wolves. But the key point is, how did the snow wolves even know about patrolling? Ji Yingying and Guqinghan swallowed nervously. Soon, the team that went into the forest came back to Snow Wolf Village. Turns out they weren't hunting. But as they got closer, the 2 of them stared even wider. These spike wolves were all holding some kind of plant vine in their mouths. The vine had fruits on it. And it was filled with aura and spirit power. Ji Ying was stunned. These wolves actually went to pick spirit fruits. And Wolf Dad didn't even do it himself. Some of these fruits weren't ripe. Some just had weak aura. But for now, they were priceless treasures. A bright red spirit fruit. The so-called spirit source fruit. For a regular person or beast, eating one might make them awaken. If you eat 3, you will definitely awaken your talent. Such amazing effects. Even made Gu Qinghan drool. With fruit like that, why bother improving the purple jade breathing? To help himself awaken early. With his talent, 1 spirit source fruit would do. And he'd awaken right away. And Ji Ying's eyes suddenly sparkled. Ji Ying waved her little hand. Her baby sounds got my attention. Is she calling daddy? Hearing the baby babble, my eyes instantly lit up. From now on, you're my daughters. When Ji Ying made those cute sounds, Gu Qinghan was the most shocked. You're actually calling Wolf Dad. Saying daddy, you know. Even if he thought of me as Wolf Dad, his soul is still Demon Lord. Gu Qinghan was already 20 when he died last time. If you count soul age, he's older than Wolf Dad. It's fine if he thinks Wolf Dad in his mind. But saying it out loud, with his stubborn personality, that's impossible. But Ji Ying was used to my care. Shy or not, she's just a baby now anyway. Her cheeks were a little red. But thinking about how important the spirit fruit was, Ji Ying decided to act cute. It almost melted my heart. I let out a low howl. Hosei Lang brought the spirit fruit to her. I saw the little blonde baby reach out with her chubby hand and grab a red fruit. Then she ate it. I was seriously shocked. I've never raised kids before. But I heard news about kids choking. So I panicked. But the kid was totally fine. She even gave off a fresh spirit aura. Suddenly I understood. So that's how it is. Looks like people in this world can absorb spirit power as babies. I haven't met other humans myself. So I figured the 2 kids were just special in this world. And even as infants they produce aura. After getting the spirit source fruit, Gu Qinghan was amazed too. Part of him wanted to keep his pride. Part of him wanted this great opportunity. How could Demon Lord Gu Qinghan bow to another country? He closed his eyes, choosing to ignore it. But I used my wolf claws to pick up a spirit source fruit and carefully handed it to Gu Qinghan. Since the blonde kid could eat it, the purple-haired kid should be fine too. Gu Qinghan smelled the fruit and opened his eyes and saw the fruit so close. Ji Ying could ignore embarrassment. How about Demon Lord Gu Qinghan? He could endure for the goal. No, it's acting cute for fruit. Thinking about that, Gu Qinghan acted even cuter. He leaned right on my wolf paw. My heart started beating fast. A strange feeling burst from my chest. Now I have 2 daughters. I was shaken. First time meeting, I mostly felt pity. But now I felt a sense of responsibility. I lowered my wolf paw, etched the 2 babies into my mind. From now on, I'll definitely protect you. Ji Ying couldn't hold herself anymore. You're so shameless. Acting cute is fine. But now you're even whining. Gu Qinghan kept going. Acted cute and replied to Ji Ying in English, you don't get it. I'm just being grateful. If I don't whine a bit, how can I thank Wolf Dad for the fruit? Ji Ying's mouth twitched. But she kept calm. Started her ice spirit breathing from her last life. And focused on absorbing the spirit source fruit. Gu Qinghan copied her. Used purple jade breathing to refine the fruit. In my view, the 2 babies seemed to eat and then fall asleep. After making sure the 2 were fine, I turned my gaze to the spirit mushrooms. There were lots of magical fruits here. But they meant nothing to me. So I shared them out to the wolves. All the snow wolves grew stronger. After putting the rest in the ice storage, I went to my daughters. Laid down for a bit. Half an hour passed. The spirit source fruit really is amazing. It removed even the hidden risks of early awakening. And gave Gu Qinghan a second talent. Ji Ying opened her eyes too. Clearly still a baby girl. But with that chubby face. She had a hint of her old empress vibe. Her lips didn't move. But a cold voice came from Ji Ying in Gu Qinghan's mind. So you awakened a second talent too. Gu Qinghan nodded slightly. They weren't speaking English. But they could hear each other. Since they both awakened their talents. Time-space link. Only those with time and space talent can control it. And it lets you use time-space power to talk mind to mind. Ji Ying's words weren't loud. But Gu Qinghan understood. You awakened your last life's talent too. Void domain. Gu Qinghan's proud voice echoed in Ji Ying's mind. Both girls seemed relieved. Using space power. Ji Ying's spirit power total was almost 3 times the norm. Plus, she could use the sharpest space slash and stack space layers. To make the toughest space shield. In their past lives, they were teammates. But also rivals. Gu Qinghan swore he'd show her how strong void domain is. He'd win. And show her that 16 cocoons is unbeatable. Both girls made up their minds. Since they're still babies, using time-space link drained their little spirit power fast. They both became weak. They looked at me at the same time. After hearing my daughters call out, I snapped my eyes open. Heard their stomachs rumbling. Didn't the two little ones just have milk? Wait a sec. How did those two little ones call me earlier? I was stunned for a moment. At that moment, both used their time sync talent together. In my mind, they spoke up saying they wanted milk. That's telepathy. I wasn't really shocked. Just surprised and happy. After eating a fruit, these two little ones could talk. Too bad I can understand them, but can't really talk back. Still, I immediately called over 2 female wolves. Now, those 6 wolf pups are grown up. So they don't need milk. No need to worry about milk anymore. Seeing my 2 daughters drinking milk from the female wolves, I felt a lot better instantly. Soon, the snow wolf hunting squad returned. They brought back prey. A few wolves carried the bodies of deer beasts. 3 snow wolves herded a dozen female deer and fawns. I let out a long howl. Blade Fong came up to me. He bowed respectfully. His body was all calm. This is the prey we hunted. I nodded calmly. Xianji came to stand in front of the bodies. Dang, even though it's dead, I can still feel the huge spiritual energy inside the corpse. Obviously, this deer got some gains from 2 spirit tides. And got quite a bit of luck. The spirit energy in its body is pretty terrifying. I instantly used my Wolf King rights and duties. And took a bite of lean meat off the deer beast's back. Then just swallowed it whole. The fresh meat on the deer's back is super tasty. And full of spiritual energy, too. A few bites down. I'm already pretty full. Host devours deer king blood and flesh. Current level rises to 18. A creepy wolf grin suddenly showed up on my face. Then I stepped aside, letting the rest of the snow wolves eat. I drove those deer mothers and fawns to the fenced corner of the snow wolf village. Right then, Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan stared at the deer bodies on the ground. Chi-Chi's mouth dropped open in shock. Deer king. You can feel it from the aura coming off the corpse. This deer not only evolved into an elite monster, but its level is at least 15. If Wolf Dad hunted this deer king, that's nothing special. But this deer king was brought back by the hunting squad. The real shock came next. Wolf Dad just sorted out their future nannies. Then walked to the head of the deer beast. Gu Qinghan and Ji Yingying both knew. Deer king's antlers are great monster materials. With Wolf Dad's style. Just as expected, I struck with my claw. And chopped off both pairs of antlers. Then gave them to Rinya to stash in the ice cellar. Along with the herbs we collected before. Next, my sharp claws directly split open the deer king's head. A blood-soaked diamond-shaped crystal core floated out from the deer king's brain. It glowed with a strange crimson light. A monster core. Damn it, what's with Wolf King's luck? The 2 little ones' eyes were full of shock. The chance of an elite monster forming its core doesn't have exact numbers, but definitely less than 1%. The 2 little ones just stood there frozen. Then stared at the monster core, with longing all over their faces. If they could absorb that core, after thinking for a bit, they chose to give up. They really want to, but can't. The spiritual energy in the monster core is way more wild than that in heavenly fruit. If you're not careful, it'll explode you. I was also watching. If eaten, the crystal has a chance to awaken one of 4 abilities. Power boost, speed boost, jump boost. After checking the crystal's effects, I frowned. This deer king core doesn't help me much. Suddenly, I thought of something. A low wolf howl sounded. Rinya suddenly dashed over to me. Looking at Rinya, I had an idea. This snow wolf pack is loyal, no worries there. So I'll reward Rinya with this core. The stronger Blade Fong gets, the better he can help with hunting. I have skill-stealing talent, so I'm not short on skills. Of course, when the snow wolf pack gets stronger, I get more boosts myself. All things considered, I tossed the deer king core in front of Blade Fong. Renya's face twitched a bit. His monster instincts knew just how important that crystal was to him. But his loyalty meant he couldn't betray his king, even for a crystal core. A chance like this? But now the king gave it to him. Not just Rinya. All the wolves in the snow wolf pack were shocked. Then that shock turned into crazy excitement. This pack of snow wolves showed their king high respect and loyalty. Blade Fong swallowed the core right away. Suddenly, spirit waves appeared all around his wolf body. Ripples of spiritual energy showed instantly. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan both widened their eyes. Wolf Dad actually gave the core to another snow wolf. Ji Yingying just looked totally confused. Gu Qinghan was even more shocked. Wolf Dad, weren't you pretty smart? Why give a chance like this to another snow wolf? Wolf Dad is really bold. What's done is done. Can't be taken back. Gu Qinghan looked at Renya. Couldn't help but sigh. Ji Yingying commented emotionally. Didn't expect Wolf Dad to be so eager. When he looked at Wolf Dad, in those amber-like eyes, there was always just calm. Maybe Wolf Dad did it on purpose. Blade Fong's transformation was finished. His size didn't change, but his muscles got way thicker. Seems he awakened the power boost talent. Gu Qinghan muttered to herself, while Ji Yingying lost it and plopped right onto the blankets. Could Wolf Dad already know? The core helps boost strength? He doesn't need it, so gave it to Scar Wolf. Ji Yingying's words left Gu Qinghan speechless. How many secrets does Wolf Dad still hide? Gotta say, Renya got lucky. Awakened a power boost talent. Just as I was still marveling, a roar suddenly came from outside Snow Wolf Village. Wait, that's a wolf howl. I lifted my wolf head and jumped up onto the city wall. Outside Snow Wolf Village, a wolf pack with black, white, and gray mixed appeared. Not just me, the wolves in the Snow Wolf pack all smelled the scent of strange wolves. But they weren't panicked. Instead, acted like they had practiced. Some female wolves instinctively wanted to protect the pups, then realized those 6 wolf pups were already grown. So the female wolves switched to guarding Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan. They copied my actions and carried the 2 little ones back to the treehouse, then quickly returned to the pack. And I was facing nearly 100 wolves. My face showed no panic at all, as the intimidating snow wolf growl echoed. With my roar, all those wolves stopped together. They all halted. Suddenly, what seemed like an urgent crisis was mostly resolved. But I still stayed cautious. Right away, I sent 6 wolf pups with Fongtooth to guard the back gate of Snow Wolf Village. Just in case. The rest of the wolves took their positions immediately. The remaining snow wolves followed behind me, blocking the main gate of Snow Wolf Village. Inside the bookhouse, Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan were terrified. They had no idea what was happening outside. Through the treehouse and the village gates, they could barely make out the massive beast horde across the hills. They seemed to be wolves too. Ji Yingying was sharp-eyed. She recognized those wolves. Gu Qinghan caught on right away. It's a territory fight between wolf packs. They never expected in Tianshan Forest there'd be such a terrifying pack. Gu Qinghan's tone was full of shock. When Ji Yingying heard it, it made her eyelid twitch wildly. There are at least 80 to 100 beasts outside. If a fight breaks out, what'll happen to Wolf Dad and the others? But Gu Qinghan thought even deeper. I think we should really consider. What about the 2 of us? If Wolf Dad can't stop them, we're doomed. I stood at the gate with more than a dozen snow wolves about the village wall here. I was still pretty confident. These random weaklings up front. This wooden wall is enough. And the wolves were already intimidated by my aura. They were all frozen. None of them dared to move. No matter how you look at it, this fight was no contest. For these wolves eyeing my hunting grounds, no way I'd go easy. Howling Moon's skill activated. My howl boosted the Snow Wolf's power. That invading wolf pack was scared stiff by my Snow Wolf King presence. Battle turned into a one-sided slaughter in seconds. After just a few breaths, a dozen wolf corpses lay on the ground. At that moment, 2 cold, lingering howls echoed from deep in the woods. A strange pressure swept from far away. Gu Qinghan instinctively clenched her hands. This is an aura of a high-level elite beast. Oh my god. Is that the Wolf King of their pack? Looks even stronger than Wolf Dad. Ji Yingying spoke up, very seriously. Maybe it's almost at the semi-transcendent level. This enemy is no match for Wolf Dad. Gu Qinghan sighed deeply and plopped down in her blanket. We're done for. Who thought that after getting adopted by Wolf Dad, we'd still end up as wolf food? So unfair. Outside Snow Wolf Village, I called back. The snow wolves, even though they're covered in blood, it all belonged to the dead enemy wolves. But to Gu Qinghan and Ji Yingying, it looked totally different now. It was a bloody battle to the death. Even with death all around, Gu Qinghan, known as Demon Lord, still felt a bit shaken. Never thought. In the end, it'd be a pack of wolves fighting for me. Before they could think too much, I suddenly stepped out of Snow Wolf Village and vanished from sight. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan got anxious all of a sudden, like they lost something important. Let's go, Wolf Dad. The 2 girls cheered Wolf Dad on together in their hearts. Even though in their eyes, Wolf Dad was not likely to make it. They still hoped for a miracle. Outside Snow Wolf Village, a 2-headed wolf suddenly appeared in my view. That was the Wolf King of their pack. Honestly, it looked terrifying. A mutated double-headed wolf species. Level 19. 3 talents and 3 skills. All at silver rank. I looked at its stats. I squinted my eyes. This guy is actually pretty tough. But my snow wolf clan was right behind me. And those 2 little ones too. It's king versus king. I refused to lose. Late night skill activated again. I challenged the 2-headed wolf king. 2 roars answered my challenge. In the next second, I became a silver flash, closing the gap in a blink. Then, my wolf claws shot out. With my sharpened blades. My claws let out a piercing howl across the hills. The silver moon claw moved beyond space itself, going straight for the 2-headed wolf king. The 2-headed wolf king raised its eyes calmly. In that instant, its dark eyes showed frightening malice. I sensed danger. Quickly gave up attacking its vital spot. Instead, I swiped my claws to the left, tearing off a chunk of fur from the white wolf head. Feeling the pain, the white wolf head held and punched. Ice aura flashed in its mouth. It quickly formed an ice orb and fired it. I couldn't dodge in time. Directly got hit by the ice blast. It knocked me back to the village gate. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan couldn't hold their nerves anymore. Turns out Wolf Dad wasn't a match either. But the next second, I disappeared from sight again. Wolf howls echoed from the hills. The 2 girls felt bad in their hearts. Oh no, Wolf Dad is so strong. And still got beaten like that. Soon after, a wolf howl sounded outside Snow Wolf Village. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan felt even worse. A scary outcome suddenly crossed their minds. Did Wolf Dad really lose? Even now, Ji Yingying, I won't argue with you anymore. I remember you awakened the space-time talent too. Gu Qinghan suddenly spoke. Ji Yingying understood instantly. After all, she's the empress. She knew. Space-time sync isn't just for mind connection. It has other effects. Like awakening powers together. Ji Ying nodded right away. The 2 little ones joined hands. Using the tiny bit of energy inside them, forcefully triggered the space-time sync talent. A wave of mental energy spread out. Then the 2 saw outside Snow Wolf Village. Wolf Dad stood proudly, panting in the wilderness. And beneath his claws was a wolf corpse torn completely in half. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan already understood the battle outside. Wolf Dad actually won. The scene was shocking. But for the 2 girls, it was a great result. After taking care of the twin-headed wolf king, the rest of the wolf beasts were intimidated by my terrifying aura on the spot, and followed my orders. Banya led the elite snow wolf tribe in a slaughter, but purposely spared some female wolves from the snow wolf tribe. This battle with the twin-handed wolf king's pack suddenly made me realize the snow wolf tribe needs more ways to grow, like recruiting other snow wolf packs. Of course, to avoid accidents, I only kept the ones that were easiest to control, the spike wolves. You've killed an elite level mutant beast. Twin-handed wolf is now level 18. New trait released. Absorb physique enhancement? I was instantly thrilled. Of the 6 traits the twin-handed wolf had, the one I wanted most was physique enhancement. After all, I don't lack attack power right now. To survive in this world of revived aura, physical strength can't be overlooked. Muttering silently in my heart, a surge of mysterious aura rushed inside me. With the sound of the physique enhancement trait, my bones crackled loudly all over. My wounds healed at a speed visible to the eye. New pale silver fur and muscles grew fast. My body became even more massive and imposing. Just then, a system prompt suddenly rang out in my mind. Host has awakened. Physique enhancement, speed enhancement, strength enhancement. Snow Wolf pressure upgraded to special talent, Song Wolf's first blood. Host physique increased by 20%. Can release pressure to suppress beasts below transcendent level. Such a sudden surprise made me open my eyes. Second golden trait. Before I could react, auras from Tianshan Forest rushed toward me. The blood in my heart felt like it was boiling. And my aura grew stronger after absorbing the condensed energy above me. Suddenly got stronger. Right in an instant, I leveled up to 19. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan felt the stirring aura. And both looked puzzled. What just happened? Why does Wolf Overlord's aura keep changing? Soon, they reached an agreement again. The space-time bronze bottle was activated again. They saw outside. Wolf Overlord looked up and howled. Endless energy was being absorbed by him. He's evolving. Just a second ago, they'd barely defeated a tough enemy. Now Wolf Overlord has evolved. Both were shocked. But then they sighed in relief. This way, they don't have to worry about getting eaten by other beasts. Finally, the transformation is done. I slowly opened my tightly shut eyes. Then dove straight into my mind space. Checked my attribute panel. That's when I noticed. My race had turned into Snow Wolf. of the royal Song wolf bloodline. In other words, what I just experienced was a bloodline level transformation. That instantly made me happy. The stronger I am, the better my chance to survive. King Banya's voice snapped me out of my thoughts. The slaughter is over. Banya and many snow wolves gathered around me. 5 female snow wolves showed up. These female wolves have gained intelligence. They whimpered and lay down, showing submission. My icy blue eyes swept over my claws and chopped off the twin-handed wolf's 2 heads. Wish my luck had lasted. I found no trace of the beast core. So I led the snow wolves back to Snow Wolf Village. From now on, Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan got 5 more caretakers. And my snow wolf expansion plan has finally kicked off. That night, I stayed inside the treehouse, while outside, Renya and other wolves followed my orders. Howls echoed through the night. Next morning, when I stepped out of the treehouse, Renya and the male wolves had finished their sacred task and started hunting. Time flew by. Ji Yingying and Gu Qinghan were both absorbing aura from the air. The days of aura revival are coming soon. Feels like it'll happen in a day or 2. Ji Yingying suddenly sighed. Her eyes grew more serious. Gu Qinghan acted much more carefree. Why sigh? Once aura fully revives, we can use our past life breathing methods to cultivate and try out our talent abilities. It'll be safer than now. Hearing that, Ji Yingying just shook her head silently. She was more worried inside. Right now, Wolf Overlord's strength is top tier in this Tianshan forest. But once aura fully revives, there will be plenty who evolve to transcendent level in just a month. Even king level. By then, all this peace will vanish.